Graeme MacAulay could remember with vivid clarity the first time he met his betrothed. Of course, she wasn't his betrothed back then. Nay, she was just a little girl of 8, no bigger than a whisper. 'Twas more than 10 summers ago when Graeme, 2 of his 5 brothers, and his father had gone to Inverness and stopped at the MacAdams on their way back to Lewis. He had been waiting out of doors whilst his father and brothers discussed the matter of cattle with Delmer MacAdams. The MacAdams raised some of the best cattle in all of Scotia. Being a boy of 14 and more interested in bookish pursuits than bartering, haggling, or business, Graeme had stepped outside. He had just rounded the corner of the MacAdams keep when he saw a rustling in the tree ahead of him. 'Twas a massive old oak that he reckoned to be at least 100 years old, judging by the size of it. As he walked toward it, he caught a glimpse of burgundy rising up the trunk and into the branches. While his mother had taught him to keep his nose out of other people's business and not to go snooping hither and yon, his father was quite the opposite. Markham MacAulay strongly encouraged such behaviour, at least the snooping hither and yon. That's not to say he taught his 6 sons how to be spies or sneaks. On the contrary, Markham encouraged his sons to question everything, for he believed that was one of the best ways to learn. From inside the keep he had heard someone yelling. Someone around his own age, mayhap, but he could not make out the words. As he drew nearer to the tree, the burgundy continued its upward ascent. Graeme's curiosity was piqued. He stood under the tree and casually looked up. There, hiding amongst the thick branches and leaves, was a dark-headed little girl in a burgundy dress. He couldn't see her face, just a thick brown braid, a burgundy dress, and little boots. From his vantage point, he estimated her to be no more than 6 years old. He was about to inquire as to what she was doing up there, when a very angry-looking lad rounded the same corner Graeme had just taken. The lad had light brown hair, a skinny face, and a body to match. He very much resembled a stick wearing a fancy tunic and trews.
"Have you seen her?"
the lad called out angrily as he stomped toward Graeme.
"Seen who?"
Graeme asked.
"An ugly little girl with dark hair and the eyes of the devil,"
the lad spat.
"Nay," Graeme said. "I've not seen anyone who looks like that."
As far as he was concerned, he hadn't. He had yet to see the little girl's face or eyes. Therefore he couldn't say if she was ugly or possessed the eyes of the devil. Never assume anything, his father had taught him.
"Bloody hell,"
the lad said gruffly as he stomped away.
"Josephine, when I catch you I'm going to peel your skin off your hide."
Though he had been taught never to assume anything, he felt confident in his assessment that the angry lad and the girl in the tree were brother and sister. Only a sibling could induce the level of anger the lad had just displayed. Having 5 brothers, Graeme was quite familiar with the threats siblings often made to one another, especially in the heat of battle. He and his brothers had often fought over one thing or another over the years, sometimes to the point of drawing blood. Mayhap 'twas no different between a brother and sister. He waited until the angry brother had rounded the corner and was out of earshot before he said anything to the sprite in the tree.
"I take it you're Josephine?"
he asked, as he leaned against the massive trunk. The sprite was silent for a long time, no doubt trying to assess the situation and Graeme's role in it.
"You won't tell him, will you?"
Graeme noted a distinct accent, a combination of French and Scots.
"Nay, I'll not tell him."
More silence from the tree sprite.
"Pray tell, why be your brother so upset with you?"
"You promise you'll not tell?"
Josephine asked. Graeme nodded as he kept a close eye out for the tree sprite's brother.
"I hid his pup."
"You hid his pup? But why?"
he asked, resisting the urge to chuckle.
"Well, actually, I gave his pup to a good family. Helmut was too mean to him. He kicked Jasper when he pitted on his bedchamber floor,"
she explained.
"I tried to explain that Jasper is just a pup and does not know better. If Helmut would just let him out more often and encourage him not to be on the floor, then he would not be on the floor. But Helmut would not listen to me, so I gave Jasper to the tinker."
'Twas getting more difficult not to chuckle. The tree sprite sounded so sincere in her conviction that she had done the right thing.
"How old are you, lass?"
Graeme asked, nearly certain he knew the answer.
8.
She told him. He was very surprised by that. From where he stood, she looked very tiny, like a wood elf. "And how old be your brother?"
"He just turned 2 and 10,
she told him. Graeme believed this was nothing more than a normal spat between brother and sister. How many times had he tormented his elder brothers, and they him?
"How about I take you to your mum? I be certain she'll protect you from your ferocious older brother,"